So
a lot of delusion, BPA. Appreciate the phone call.
Thanks. Thank you, BPA. Appreciate that. Hello, Steiny and Guru.
Hi, friend.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, man.
How was the rest of your day yesterday? It was fun spending part of it with you. Yeah.
It was different because I left the studio with a big smile on my face, and that's not usually I can't do this.
No, because you're a phony.
Because I love you.
You can only act one day a week.
You don't love me.
And by the way, for those of you on YouTube, yes, they're all chiming in with the worst, most awkward fake bro hug
Did you see
bro
it?
hug history.
Actually, there was no, we knew what side to go to.
First of all, you abhor physical contact
That's not
with
true.
anyone.
That's not true.
And
Not with my new
secondly,
friend.
Mark Willard, you're above the fray. That was the most awkward fake hug I've ever seen.
I don't even know what fray you're talking about. I'm not in any fray right now.
Because you're above the fray.
I have absolutely. Again,
Oh, there's a fray.
I have nothing to apologize
Walter
for.
Frey.
I walked in here. I was told to do a job. I did my job. I didn't take shots at anybody.
Armando Benitez.
Yesterday you did.
I did?
Yeah.
Who did I take shots at?
I'm gonna tell
Take
you.
off that
Go ahead.
jacket, Goo. Let him know, Goo.
Go ahead.
So
Let him know.
I don't know if people know.
Tell 'em.
But I have the hardest job here at the station.
Speak on it.
Because this is my best friend off air.
That's awkward.
And there's a stick on air to where he's Mike Tyson to me, right? And I got walked out. Oh, Guru, come here, give me a hug. So I was going to call you before the show yesterday to warn you, like, stick and move, jab, left, the uppercut, all this. And the Steiny you got yesterday, I don't know who that was. So I said, Frazier Ali, let me tune in. I stopped everything I was doing. And instead, I got not romance in the stone, bromance in the stone. Because that's what you guys did. Shout out Kathleen Turner.
Now, hold on.
Okay.
But why? No.
I'm going to tell you, it wasn't your fault.
Right.
Because there was no game to react to, so he didn't back you into a corner.
I know he didn't.
There was nothing to pick apart. Everybody knew the All-Star game was,
and I called him out
but
on
listen
it.
to this part.
I
turned on and I hear, I used to go get the wiffle ball in Mr. Pirelli's backyard, and Mr. Pirelli, sometimes we get mad. And Steiny, how did you feel when you got the wiffle ball from Mr. Pirelli? What is that?
Hold on.
I was like, what? I texted Dibs, are you listening to this stuff? But it was, I used to get the wiffle ball in Mr. Pirelli's backyard. Steiny, how did you feel when you got the... I'm like, this is...
I'm an interviewer.
I need you to come back
I'm
for
an
me
interviewer.
another day.
What do you want me to say?
No, it wasn't your... But this dude, who
Hang
was
on,
that
slow
dude?
down and say it slower.
Okay.
It wasn't your fault.
No, it wasn't your fault,
So
but I
wait a
couldn't
minute.
take
Who did I rip on the show yesterday?
I backed him in the corners. You said he backed me in the corners. So you were looking out for me.
You backed each other in the corners.
But I didn't like how it sounded.
I mean,
Mr.
listen.
Pirelli, I used to go get the wiffle ball.
There is no Mr. Pirelli. It was Mr. Russo.
Listen,
how
it's
did
a
you
4
feel
for
when
your
you got it?
How did you feel? Listen, I've been in therapy for 2 years, and how did you feel is a question that comes up a lot.
I got you.
Right, like a
There was no
therapist.
fighting. I
By the way,
wanted
that
fighting.
$200 an hour that therapists make, how hard is it? Like you'll sit there and you just and then they're like, and how did that make you feel?
Right.
And then they sit back in their chair. It's like, is that all you have to do?
Doodle on the pad a little
Turn
bit,
into
yeah.
his therapist for
I
a few 4
text Dibs,
hours.
you listening to this
Hey,
love fest?
listen.
Yeah.
I was not the person you wanted me to be, but that's a you problem.
No, I got to give you
That's
this
a you
tip real
problem.
quick. You poked him. You were like, where's that Steiny this week, dude?
I called him
and
out.
he was Roberto Duran.
I knew.
Totally.
I told
No
him,
mas.
I told him an hour and a half into the
poked
show.
him. You did.
An hour and a half. Steiny did. Did I not
I
say
heard you, Willard.
I said,
Bring
Guru,
it.
Guru is going to be livid when he gets in here tomorrow because he's going to ask,
That's pretty good.
where is that? Why don't I get
Yeah. Yeah.
Where is
Mr.
John?
Pirelli, I made him.
Exactly.
That's pretty funny.
Mr.
And I think
Pirelli.
that's where the beef really lies. It's with, Steiny becoming a completely different Steiny when it's he and Mark.
Give me
Well,
that
clearly you didn't
Monday
hear.
through Friday.
Clearly you didn't hear the part about what I was asked about that yesterday, and what I said was, great coaches don't treat every player the same. I treat, Guru needs me to be Bobby Knight.
I heard
Willard
that part, yeah.
needs me to be John Wooden.
He don't like me
Right.
happy.
All right,
That's all right.
and so
The
it's all about the
implication that
team.
you are his coach
That's
is
the
what
whole-
offended
it's
me
right.
even more. The fact that, quietly,
my ass.
I think he's been with the station longer than you have if you count your time away.
Well, continuity, yes.
Thank you, which continuity counts. So, and for you to have the audacity to imply that you're his coach, I found it to be gutless.
Yeah, nothing with you, Will. Nothing with you. You got something else.
That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. I told them.
You tried to fight. You tried to poke him. Break it out.
I did my job and I went home.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Armando Benitez.
It's a true story. True story.
About Mr. Pirelli's yard?
No, about a therapist. I did find myself one time talking to the therapist, and I swear to God, I got the.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I had the heavy eyelid. The heavy eyelid.
Were you telling a classic 7-minute vignette?
I don't know.
That better be a get up and walk out. It better be a get up and a walk out, and I'm not paying.
No, it wasn't because the issue was codependency. So I didn't say anything to him.
I mean, what would you do if a therapist fell asleep in the middle of your session?
You're fired.
I'm
completely.
out. I'm out. And if
It actually answered a lot of questions for me.
Wow.
You're like, oh, that's why people are reacting to me the way they are.
That's too much.
Hey, I was listening to the. Go ahead, Dan.
No. I think that's hilarious. That's an honest reveal.
I got this from Allen and Shasky, and I heard the Changeover 1. And I'm not picking bones with Giant fans or sports fans in general, but it goes to your guys' conversation. Willard, I don't apologize for what I am. I'm a diehard. I root for the Pirates, and I have done so. But when things aren't good on the farm and you don't have a star, like the Giants, a big-time starter where you can gravitate to as a diehard fan, isn't that like you still got to watch. You still got to bring your ass to the yard if you're a diehard fan. Yeah, it's not ideal, but still, come on, man. So I don't know what's going on, why people aren't going to 3rd and King, and they don't have what I think they need. And Ohtani, he's on the market. Yeah. But shame on Giant fan if you're not going to the yard because you're star shaming the team. Well, if you're about the orange and black, like whatever team out, you got to be there.
But maybe we overestimated how many of those diehard fans there are.
Well, it's an interesting time. First off, you're listening to 95.7 The Game, kgmz-fm and HC1 San Francisco, always live on the Odyssey app. I'm never going to tell fans what to do. I'm never going to tell them what to spend. I'm not going to shame people if they don't want to go. I do think this. For the last 3-4 years, since the pandemic, really, the Giants have been in a perpetual state of coming up with reasons why the building is not more full than it is. And I think they stuck too long with the the pandemic, and people don't.
That's when it kind of started.
Yeah, but it's like people. A year later, people would have come. Is it the prices? Are they being priced out? That's kind of interesting, based on the fact that we probably have more people with resource here than anywhere else in the entire country. So, is it that? Now it's a lack of a star. Are you telling me that if Correa was here, that would be enough, and 20,000 would turn into 30,000 every Tuesday night? I think no.
No, but would 20,000 turn into 25,000? And that's where I think incrementally, and I'm looking at the numbers right now, and if you go to 2018, they drew 3.156 for a team that won 73 games. For the second straight year, you were awful. You made the playoffs in 16, back-to-back awful years, but in that second year, you drew 3.156.
Yeah.
You still had name value. The next year, it goes all the way down to 2.7 million fans, an average of 33,000 a night. Still good crowds. You were awful again. Pandemic, forget about it. The year afterwards, you win 107. Your attendance is 20,000 a night. Now, I think that was pandemic hangover. Maybe. I'll give you that. Last year's the one that really is galling because the pandemic was mostly over, and you only drew 30,000 fans coming off a 107-win year.
Yeah, it's to me, this is something bigger than a lot of the things that we've been talking about. And I will tell you this, and I bet we've all experienced this. Do you have some like friends or family that come back? Maybe they used to live here or they've been here a lot or whatever. Like the city's not the same. And I mean that from the standpoint, there's just not as many people here. We can get from point A to point B in the city in a way that we never have been able to before. Before 2 years ago, we were talking about, pandemic, people don't want to come back. Now, it's not pandemic. It's just all the new ways we've found to do things. It's kind of like talking about a shopping mall 2 weeks before Christmas. You can find parking now because of Amazon. We've all figured out a new way to conduct ourselves.
So it's not about the product on the field or the land.
That's part of it. Absolutely,
it's a little part of it, but I think it's deeper than that. And I also think where are you in the standings? If they win games,
They won 107 going into last year.
I know, but the attendance will go up if they are contending, as they get into the summer.
If I were a baseball fan, I would always give my team a shot at it early. I'd go to a couple
For
games
sure.
early and then see how the season played out. You did say something that I'm not sure I believe, and I said, Guru said, Giants fans, they got to go out. That's what you are, a loyal fan. It might not be as bad as they. And I said, well, would you go see the A's?
And if
you
I
said,
were,
yeah.
if I were a diehard A's fan, I would go. I don't hold the players accountable for the BS that's going on upstairs that they can't control. That's just me. And I'm being so real.
See, there's a difference there for me.
Right, but you can get great cheap seats, and I know some people who look at it that way, and others are like, I'm not supporting this owner, and I get that too.
But the Giants are not the A's.
No,
exactly.
And you just had a magical season out of nowhere.
The Giants are resembling the A's in ways that we're not used to them resembling the A's. And one thing that they're resembling the A's in is this roster churn. And this is something I asked Alex Pavlovich earlier, and Mark and I talked about it. If you're not a diehard Giants fan, I'm going to root for the orange and black no matter what. That's my partner, Mark Willard. He'd go to 60 games if he could, if he didn't have 3 kids and a bunch of problems.
Go to 81.
Exactly. But if you're more of a casual fan, who's the one player that you have to see this year? Like, who's their marquee attraction right now?
I got you.
It's Logan Webb. He's going to pitch 33 times if he stays healthy. After that, is it Jock Peterson, a platoon DH?
You're going to say I'm BSing you, but what about the uniform as that person if you don't have it?
But if you're not a diehard P1 fan of the team, if you're more of a casual fan, like my beloved wife, Supper, she's a big fan of the team, but, she's not going to dial in for Michael Conforto at-bats in April. Yeah. So who are you dialed in to see?
Maybe in May, though.
Yeah, if he comes out and has an 8-homer month and they're 17 and 7.
I love that Alex pointed him out. Like Alex sort of said that if you're down in spring training, when you watch, you can tell when you see someone who's got a different sound that comes off the bat.
Oh, man.
And I know that we blow it off because his name is not Aaron Judge and his name is not Carlos Correa, and he was hurt last year. But Michael Conforto, this is a baller now.
Yeah.
This is a career 824 OPS.
They're going to hit homers
3 times
They're
north
hit
of 25 home runs. This is a good baseball player.
And that's what I was getting at. So hold on a sec. Didn't the Giants lead the league in homers 2 years ago or 3 years ago?
In the 107.
They led the National League.
The National. They're second in the mix.
So is there a chance they could lead the league in homers this year?
I've already,
no
doubt.
I mean, in a way, that to me is an incongruity. What, because one guy's not hitting 60 of them? Well, if it's a team you're hitting 100 or 250, well, what's wrong with that?
If you got 12 guys who can hit 20, that's 240.
Yeah.
And that's when they led the league, they led the National League. I don't think they had anybody who even hit 30 that year.
I mean, but that doesn't do it for you.
Had 26, 21, 18.
Yeah, Belt had 28. I think that was the leader.
It does something for you, Steiny, if you win. And I think that's where we're stuck with this team. Like, to Mark's point, if they start out the year and they're 17 and 10 and they're winning games 11 to 8, and then Logan Webb is throwing, 2-hit shutouts, and they're exciting and they're playing great baseball, fans will show up. Because summer, when you have kids like you guys all know, and you're looking for something to do, if you have an interesting team, you're going to go to the ballpark.
I'm still going, even if I'm just a casual fan, I'm going to the Giants games 3 to 5 times a year.
Yeah.
Still because of the stadium. Yeah. And then maybe you pick the opponent you want to see.
Exactly. And you picked it. And one thing Mark said that I think is absolutely true, like San Francisco, you guys know from going to the cafeteria and going to other watering holes, there aren't as many people working in the city as used to work in the city. So if you have a job working 8 to 5 and you're working with 3 or 4 other people, it's like, let's go to the Giants game tonight. We're already here in the city. We already got to the city. It's a lot easier than if you're working elsewhere, working at home, and now you gotta get the Bay Bridge and you gotta pay for parking and all the rest of it.
Yeah, you know what else is interesting is I've never thought baseball to be dependent on wins and losses when you're going to go to games in April, May, June, and July. Yes, it gets there in September, and certainly, obviously, in October. But baseball, I don't know how you guys feel. When my friends are like, let's go out to the game, it's not because, hey, the Giants are in first place. It's like, that would be a fun kind of afternoon. Let's maybe grab the kids,
for sure.
or let's not So there's very little about are the Giants in first, second, third, fourth. And so it's funny that now we're like, well, we're not expecting them to be good and we don't have a star. Well, even when Buster was the star, are you telling me you grabbed your whole family and threw $400 on the table to go down there and watch Buster take 4 at-bats and see if he could line one into right center? That's not why you went.
You know
That's
what?
not why you went. And we haven't had that person since Bonds.
I think I don't think you can underestimate the number of people in the city, because I met a buddy out on Wednesday after work, and he shows up, he gets out of the car, and the first thing he goes, I swear to God, he goes, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "What?" He goes, "There's nobody here."
Nobody here.
And he used to work in the city. Now he comes down more infrequently. And I think if we've been back in the city a lot now, for a year or two now, and we've seen it pick up a little bit, but it's still not even close to the way it used to be.
And even people who do work in the city, you got more 3 and 4 days a week people.
Yeah, you got to go, huh? Because I got something real quick about yesterday.
I do, but
Steiny had the line of the day. And I got a confession.
Damn it. I always like
I've hired a trainer. I'm 2 weeks in. So the hardest days are when I'm at home in the mirror. I'm like, okay, Goo. I said, okay, it ain't as bad. I look at myself on this camera and I'm like, head looks like a microwave. Okay, I got gains. But yesterday when Steiny said his head looked like a refrigerator, and Steiny, that wasn't your body. I was watching, so now I feel better about myself. You don't have this problem. But now when I was looking at Steiny
I'll
in the
never sit
yellow
over
shirt,
I will never be
I
a
said,
two again.
that's not his physique.
No.
So Goo, keep going, Daddy.
Keep doing it, brother.
Steiny, you looked, it wasn't you yesterday, and when you said your
like
head
shoebox. My head looked like a
refrigerator,
rectangular shoebox.
I wanted to hug you, dog. Camera 2 puts on a few.
Camera 2
ever
puts
wear a
on.
baggy shirt. 22.
Dude, Steiny, that was you.
I'm telling you.
Some dude actually texted in. He goes, "Steiny, you look thick."
Yeah. That camera puts on 25 pounds.
Oh, my goodness.
It's like literally.
Oh, that's too funny.
I've already given up years ago, so I'm okay with it. Camera 2.
That was it, Steiny. You had me dying. Oh, man.
All right, here come everybody's 2 best friends. It's Steiny and Go.